I'm just going to punch in and start recording right now. There we go. Hello everyone, I am Chris Seth Jackson from howtorunaband.com, and tonight I'm going to be talking about crappy shows. And the reason I'm going to be talking about crappy shows tonight is because I just had a really shitty show on Friday. So I'm just going to talk about that, why it was a shitty show, what things I did that made it a shitty show, and, you know, just the things around shitty shows. It's personally, I consider it paying your dues, but there are some things about shitty shows that people need to know because it's one of the most daunting things for musicians, especially new musicians getting out of their home market that, you don't have your friends and family there to support you. So getting out of your home market, you're going to run into a lot of shitty shows. So, my band, Shiplosion. Oh, by the way, anytime you want to, there's a chat feature. Chat with me. I'll answer questions. We can go off topic, go into tangents. Anything at all you want to ask me, just feel free. And if you don't want to do the chat thing, hit me up at seth@howtorunaband.com and we can follow up after the show. And by the way, feel free to pop open your beer because I'm going to be drinking beer during this show. So at least it's not whiskey. I think I did that at one time, and that's not a good plan. Not a good plan. So I had a show on Friday, and it was an out-of-town show in the city called Bellingham, Washington, which is about an hour and a half north of Seattle, of my hometown. And it's the second time I played there with Shiplosion. I played there with other bands, but second time playing there with Shiplosion, and the show blew. It sucked. And this is, it's also the second show in a row there that blew and sucked. But here's why. The first show, or actually this show, I did this great promotion. I was giving away a free t-shirt, free beer. You get one free beer, you pay entry, free beer, free t-shirt, and you get me, which is, that's worth the price of admission right there. But anyway, my ego aside, it was a great promotion. So I figured, bands would help me out because I'm taking on all the cost for this. I just want new bodies to the door in this new city to, see my band and, be wearing the t-shirt around town so other people see my band's name and just get people through the door because no one knows who the hell I am. So any means necessary, I'm going to try to get people to the door. So I ran this promotion full well knowing I'm going to be paying out of my pocket for this first thing. So it was basically, I don't have much merch right now because it's still just building up our merch set. But we had t-shirts, a ton of t-shirts. So I was going to give those away for free and then offer to sell these beer koozies for my band and try to make up some sales through that and maybe get enough people to the door to offset the cost of some things, but probably not by much. Anyway, I thought it'd be an awesome deal. It's like, who could resist that? It's like almost $23 worth of value for only $5. Well, I guess a lot of people can resist that. A lot. Because no matter how great your promotion is, if the lineup sucks, no one's coming out. It just doesn't matter. If the lineup sucks, no one's going to be there. So, despite best efforts, the owner of the bar decided to put on a band that had nothing to do with the other. It was because I'm a metal band, and this other band they had opening for us was not metal at all. They were kind of like punk-ish folk music, I would say. Because like they did the traditional things, the little high energy, but it wasn't like full out, rancid punk. It was kind of just like folksy, more like they would fit in better with Go-Go Bordello than they would my metal band that would fit in better with Anthrax or Pantera. So that was that. They were the first band. Then the last band, my band, as I said, Anthrax, Pantera, that type of thrash metal. We have clear vocals and we sing in a very, you can hear melodies and good shit like that. Last band was just improv noise metal. Did not match us whatsoever. It was like, raw, and just people coming up and going, raw, for, it felt like an hour. I think finally the bartender cut it off like this. It was like, no more. But it felt like an hour. It was pretty grueling. And, these guys were nice as hell, but it did not match our type of music. uh, which is sad. I really like networking with other bands and making it a really good, happy, feel good thing, but it did not work. I mean, people didn't want to stick around either. It was only the friends of that band that were really left at the end of the night. Um, yeah, the first band that didn't fit us at all, they left. They just packed up their gear and left. They brought basically no one to the show. And yeah, it was just bad, all around bad, because we're out of town band. We have no fans there yet. So that's a crappy show. That's the background. And yeah, so no matter how great your promotion is, if the lineup sucks, not much you can do about that. I mean, so seriously, you can be the one great band on the bill, but if the rest of the bands on the bill suck, that can turn people off. They'll be like, I don't want to go see that show. There's another show somewhere else. And that's the other thing is, there's could be another show somewhere else, something better going on. Plus, the place I'm playing is a college town in the middle of summer. And as you know, in college town, people don't stick around. And plus, it's a bar, so most people in a college town are under 21. So there's a whole bunch of barriers against having a great show over there. But the thing is, I know from playing there previously in another band that it can be a lot of fun and a lot of people can be hanging around there. So I need to really network with other bands. That's what it really comes down to. If you want to start getting better shows, you need to network with other bands that have a draw. I mean, we don't need major draw. The place I'm playing is like a 49-person capacity, which is why I'm a little bit pissed off that like the free beer, free t-shirt promo didn't work. It's like, come on, how hard is it for 3 bands to fill up a 49 capacity venue? Should be easy, right? Guess not. I guess not. Because we didn't do it. But I don't know if there was other factors going on. I don't know what other shows, and that's another thing. Maybe I didn't research what other shows were going on to say, oh, okay, over here is this show. So, nothing you can do about it. Another problem is I actually did try to set up things with other bands and contact them and get them on board with this. And this is another crappy thing. It's easy to say, yeah, network with other bands and then, use their show and open up for them and, get good shows with other bands. But it's sometimes really fucking hard. If the band doesn't know who you are as a band, then they might not even acknowledge your existence or want to play a show with you. It's weird. I contacted a ton of bands using, trying to find them on Reverb Nation. Facebook is impossible to find other bands on, so it's like Reverb Nation and relying on the club itself to find the appropriate bands. And yeah, it's difficult. Bands are not the most responsive, not the most organized of people, unfortunately. And that's the other thing, is that you can get a band that's interested, but trying to organize a date at the same time in the same city with another band can be one of the most impossible things on the planet. Just coordinating because each band, has like 4 or 5 different people in each band, and each person has their own stupid schedule. So it's really difficult sometimes to get these shows together. And bottom line, sometimes bands don't want to play with you because they think you suck, and they don't want to chase their audience away because, why set up a show with a band that has no draw? So there's that as well. So sometimes you just got to persevere through it. You got to do the crappy shows. It sucks, but it's called paying your dues. Really, you got to find like those 1 or 2 people per show and start grabbing them, shaking their hands, giving them a free t-shirt. Yeah, I gave up a couple free t-shirts at that show, and they seemed really stoked to get those free t-shirts. So, sure, next time, I'll be talking to them again. So that's the way it is. You pick up the 1 or 2 people, you treat them like gold, give them something for free. Don't expect to get paid for your gas money the first few times out. And just don't be a dick to the bartender. Don't be a dick to the other bands. Don't start talking bullshit on the microphone, which my guitarist almost did, but I just gave him the... So, we got out of that. My guitarist can be a little bit temperamental at times. I've been temperamental at times. I've learned my lesson. It never pays to be a dick on the microphone to other bands or to the audience. So blaming the audience and other people for your shitty show is not their problem. The few people there are there to support you. So like the one or two people there watching your band, you shouldn't make them feel like shit because they didn't magically sprout 50 other people because you did a poor job promoting. That's the bottom line. Is a show's turnout is your responsibility ultimately. It's no one else's responsibility. It's not the other bands, it's not the club's responsibility. It's not the city's responsibility. It's not God's responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. It is you, solely you. Once you fully take responsibility for your own shit, then you can start controlling your own shit. So, yeah, you got shows that suck. Well, what the hell are you doing wrong? What isn't getting people, like my promotion? It sucked. It didn't get people out there. So what was I doing wrong? I honestly wasn't. The bill itself wasn't compelling enough for people. The offer wasn't compelling enough. Maybe it didn't reach enough people. Maybe none of the other bands were promoting enough. That's actually another funny thing about the story is that we sent up a whole bunch of flyers. Well, maybe not too many, but we at least sent up like 11 by 17 full color thing and a few other flyers. Got there, like the smallest flyer we sent was in the window, and that was it. We don't know where the other flyers went. It's like, what can you do when you send out the flyers to the club and you're in a different city? None of the other bands apparently put up any flyers anywhere, and flyers suck anyway. But you know, something, you need something. So it just gets the feeling that the bands weren't doing anything. So anyway, back on point is that you need to control your shit. So if you are on a show and you know you don't have control of the lineup and you don't have bands and clubs beating a path to your door to play with you, then you know you got to make your show like 200 to 300% more awesome and even more mind-blowing just because of that. As soon as you see, like, even though the place was dead, I still played my ass off in a super hot, unair conditioned place. I played my ass off, sweated, just blew out my vocal cords yelling, and just, grrr. You know, it's doesn't pay to still like pull back punches because it's a shitty show. You still got to perform your best because there's no other way you're going to start getting fans if you perform like shit. You got to get those one or two people to come out to your next show and tell at least one or two other people, hey, you know, come out with me and check out this band. They're kind of cool. That's the way it works. Seriously. I mean, if you've gone to a show and like, oh, that band's pretty cool. The next time you're like, oh, hey, I'm going to go see this show tonight. Let's go there. That's the way it works. Word of mouth. It works. That's how it happens. And that's not Facebook suddenly magically making you go viral. That can happen, but it's mainly, a whole bunch of work on your part. And I'm blabbing, so I think I wrote down some notes. Feel free to ask me questions. I'm just blabbing, and I have fun blabbing. So, use the chat. We can ask me questions. We can chat back and forth. And I'm going to go see what else that I put down as far as notes. I think I covered everything. Oh, yeah. As far as crappy shows go, sometimes you just can't control it. And you could have gotten all the bands that you wanted. The booker could throw two bands onto the bill that just... The booker or owner of the club and just throw two bands on the bill half-assedly. You have no control over it. And all of a sudden you have two shitty bands fucking up your bill. There's one show I played that went down to Oregon. And this club booked two bands that took all the door money. Like the owner guaranteed these two shitty bands that brought no one to the club all the door money. So they didn't stick around for any of the other bands either. They like grabbed the door money and left. So then there was two other bands, so it made the show last all the way until the last band had to play into the last call. So yeah, you have no control over crappy shows. You just grin, bear it, do it, and make note of that. You know, sometimes it's just a crappy club. No matter what you do, you can't change that club. And you just don't play there anymore. There's a few clubs I do not play anymore. I'm like, you sir suck not playing your show. So yeah, sometimes it just comes down to that. It's not you. It could be the show. But you're in control of booking there. So learn how to say no to some shows when you know it's going to suck and not be in your best interest. Yeah, and but paying your dues. You got to do it. The thing is, pay your dues close to home. If you can't get a regional following for your band, you got to pay your dues close to home. Because then, if you go on tour, why do you think people are magically all of a sudden going to love you because you went on tour? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. You're going to get a worse response because now you're thousands of miles from home, and you need gas money and food to eat and a place to sleep. So playing shitty shows when you're super far away from home, I don't know. I think it's fun, but at the same time, it's not a profitable thing. But it's so much fun. But I'm not saying do it, but goddamn, it is fun. Yeah, I wish I was on the road right now, still being broke and sleeping on the floor or inside a super hot van. Yeah. But anyway, I'm keeping my band close to home so we can start like building up a following and even see, maybe we need to change something in our act to really get people fucking stoked about the band and really into it. So it's instead of going on big ass tours that lose and blow a lot of money, I'm trying to keep a few hours within my city. And the thing is, you can play a shit ton of shows just within a few hours. But still, they're going to be shitty shows. As soon as you get outside of your little comfort zone, you're going to be playing shitty shows. That's called paying your dues. You're going to be playing time slots you don't want to play. You're going to be playing dead last on a Wednesday night or fucking at 9 p.m. before everyone shows up even on that Saturday show. So buck up, play your ass off, and be fucking awesome. And blow the fucking minds of the one person there watching you. If there's no one there watching you, just blow the minds of the fucking insects and rodents in the fucking bar. Just whatever. Just put your brain into the mindset that you're gonna fucking just own this establishment. Put your brain that there's an arena of people in front of you, no matter what. I mean, it's a fucking great practice to pretend you're at the best live show of your life. If you can fucking fake it through the deadest and worst shows, then you can definitely do it during the nice high energy shows. So it's great practice. So never dial it in, always fucking give it full fucking throttle. So now on to some news, because I think I've kicked that horse to the fucking ground. So this one's funny news. So Snoop Dogg has, I guess, converted to the Rastafarian religion and is going to change his name to Snoop Lion. Awesome. I'm changing my name to Puma Jackson right now. Chris Puma Jackson. Whenever you see me or talk to me, it's Puma at howtorunaband.com. That's what, I'm just Puma.com. No, I guess there's a shoe company already. I'm just Puma. See that? Snoop Dogg can do it. To Lion, I can do it. Puma. That's what you call me. All right, back on to some more serious news. And I'm not really well prepared for this because I thought I would blabber on for longer, but whatever. Fuck it. So, I love this site called torrentfreak.com. This guy is always going about piracy and BitTorrents and internet sharing. He always finds the juicy tidbits, but yeah, I guess the Torrent Freak just found out that the Internet Archive, which archives the internet, everything, just basically all information, they're using torrent seeds they're using torrents to help back up all of this information and using BitTorrents just to do all this stuff. Interestingly enough, they have a lot of live shows and concert footage and all this stuff of various bands, including Maroon 5, John Mayer. So I wonder if they're going to be getting into some sticky grounds really soon. But this is stuff that's freely available on the internet. And it's always a battle between the freedom of information and the freedom of, the copyright holders. People need to make a fucking buck. So, yeah, I think the more you try to fight it, the more they try to do internet takedowns, there's going to be something else that pops up and takes its place with a vengeance. So, yeah, and basically Spotify is like legal piracy because you make shit from those torrents. The only people that make money on it are people that, like labels that have a huge amount of things that can be streamed, huge amount of songs that can be streamed. They can make money off it just from sheer scale. But you as an individual musician, you can get new fans, which is a great thing. So I don't say, Spotify is bad. I'm just saying it's not going to be the thing that like fills your pocket. But things like Spotify and BitTorrent, they're not that far off from each other. It's just that BitTorrent is frowned upon and not monetized, whereas Spotify is monetized in a way to be somewhat legit. Who knows how that goes? Just thought that's interesting that the Internet Archive is using torrents to do its shit, and music is included in that. And in good news, or not really that great of news, is a Lamb of God singer, Randy Blythe, just got out of he was in the Czech Republic, Prague. I guess one of the fans at his shows, he either pushed him or a security guard pushed him. There's like some footage of it. Just push someone off stage because the Lamb of God metal. They get people to jump on stage and you push them off. That's just how metal goes. And apparently this kid fell the wrong way in the pit and got killed. And it was nothing malicious on Randy Blythe's part or anyone there. It's just that's what happens at metal concerts. You jump up on stage, you leap off, and you do some stupid shit, and you can get hurt. But apparently Randy Blythe was put into jail and has been in jail for quite a while now and has just been released and has come back to the United States. So awesome that he was released, but it's scary because I've been in tons of shows where I knocked a chick out with my bass guitar once because someone from the audience hit into the singer who flew into me, and I had no balance because I was playing the bass, and the tip of my bass guitar just knocked this girl out. Unfortunately, that girl was also the singer of the local paper, so my band didn't get featured much after that. So I don't know if there's a lesson there, but anyway, people get hurt in these shows, and it doesn't matter what show it is, that something accidental that you had no intention of doing, suddenly a government or an agency or someone can look at you as committing homicide against your own fans, which is clearly not the case here. And that is a scary thing, and I'm really interested in how this is going to turn out, if there's going to be any legal repercussions in the United States, if clubs are going to start enacting any new laws, because I know with a great white thing, with a whole bunch of the fire and, like, my brain just stopped. Anyway, like the fire that burned down the clubs, that, a lot of clubs have a lot of laws now. A lot of cities have a lot of laws now about clubs and exits and sprinkler systems. And in fact, a lot of the sprinkler systems have gotten clubs shut down. So it's going to be interesting to see if that plays out in the U.S. at all. Probably not, since it happened in the Czech Republic. And, all right, well, I'm going to open it up now. Since I want to open it up to anybody who wants to ask any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here and stare at the camera awkwardly and drink. Okay, I can't do that any longer. Yeah, so I guess going out of the news. How to get a good show. This is stuff I've been kind of not really struggling with. I know what I need to do, and I know it takes time. But it's just the amount of work can be overwhelming a little bit if you don't have a schedule set up ahead of time to get things done. Like, you're 1 month ahead of your show schedule. Like shooting out a YouTube video. You don't, like, I guess me getting up here on Ustream. You can do something like this with your band. You don't even need to play music. You just get up and bullshit for a little bit. Why the fuck not? So get up, bullshit with your band. Then you can do things like, I don't know, create a bunch of pictures and put on Pinterest. That could be something. I don't know if Pinterest is any good for musicians at all. No idea. But you could have a schedule of that. I don't know. That's a shitty thing. I don't know. Does Pinterest work at all? I don't know. I haven't heard from any bands that have definitively used Pinterest to get people to their shows. Not at all. Has anyone? I don't know. But anyway, pictures are becoming more important with Instagram and pretty much Facebook being a big picture repository. Pictures. You need pictures to promote your show. You got to get 404 by 404 pixel pictures for your Facebook timeline to promote your show. Not 11 by 17 flyers, but you need 404 like little square things that show up really and pop into your timeline, because that shows up really well if someone who doesn't know who your band is and they just go look at your timeline real quick. They can just scroll down and like, oh, that's what they're up to. And it shows up really well in the news stream that everybody looks at, because not many people look at your timeline. Yeah, so just even if it just says text on it, you can use something like GIMP or MS Paint or whatever you want, and just it doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to tell people like what your show is or if there's anything special going on with it. Uh, Honestly, I don't want to spend millions and millions of hours trying to make the perfect picture for a show because my time could be better spent elsewhere. Because you're going to put that picture up and it's going to last all of 3 seconds on Facebook stream and then it's going to be forgotten. So, my personal preference. But I mean, if you're an artistic graphic designer person and that gets your rocks off, you should be the person in the band in charge of that stuff and making off it awesome graphic design. Because I am just being chatty. I just watched Exit Through the Gift Shop last night. Highly recommend it because it was about a whole bunch of street art, like illegal street graffiti art. That was just amazing. And following this guy that's a little bit nutty that tried to document all this stuff, but he was a nut job. And I won't give away the ending because the ending is the part that you're like, what the fuck? So Exit Through the Gift Shop, watch it. It's awesome. But looking at that street art really inspired me about making things with my stage set a little bit more crazy and wild and going a little bit above and beyond and over the top with my stage shows. So sorry, I just got completely derailed from talking about ways to promote a show because I was doing a shitty job of explaining that. And I'd rather talk about this because I'm more excited about that. Uh, yeah, everybody's stage show looks a little bit boring, in my opinion. I mean, there's no sense of drama, no sense of theater. And that's when you're playing live, you need a little bit of sense of theater to what you do. So, looking at the stage art where they use simple stencil techniques, I say if you use some simple lighting and simple stencils and simplistic things, you can have something amazing that makes you look completely different than the rest of the bands out there. And I'm going to 110% try this with my band. August 25th is our next show, and why the fuck not? Just get some stuff and turn it into a fucking crazy theater experience. I don't know how far we can go. I don't have a lot of money to spend, so I got to be really guerrilla about it. And I love going to Goodwill for doing anything guerrilla or weird or funky. I mean, beer time. Because you fucking save money. Start small, save money. Don't spend a shit ton of money in there. Whenever you see things that come out that cost a shit ton of money, don't do it. Look for the cheaper way to do it. Because you can. I mean, there's probably things just around you right now that you can use to make crazy outfits, make crazy stage design, set design. You don't need a shit ton of money to do a lot of these things. Yes, it costs money to record music, but you can start small and just record a single, and that doesn't cost as much money. There's a whole bunch of cost-saving ways to do things, guerrilla ways to do things, and all of the stuff on the internet right now, like 99% of it is fucking free for you to use. And I am just being completely random right now. So since I'm being so freaking random and no one has any questions right now, no questions? Because I'm just blabbing and I'm about to end this. No questions? You? Cool. I'm going to sign off because I'm getting way too random. I am Chris Seth Jackson. No, wait a minute. Chris Puma Jackson from howtorunaband.com. I am the Puma now. And I will try to do this again every week. Go to my blog, howtorunaband.com, and or just shoot me an email, seth@howtorunaband.com, and say, hey, what's up? And I'll try to be less random next week. Must be the heat and the beer. Take care. Goodbye.